Now, let's think ahead to 2028. What is happening right now is that there is a shadow war between J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio.
Well, here we are. We're hearing Mr. Nicholas Fuentes talk about his grand design for 2026 into 2028. I'm going to get right back into it, but I just want to plead with you guys, please like, subscribe, comment on the video. It helps more than I could ever describe. Thank you. Here we go.
They both want to be coronated. Neither of them wants a primary process. They don't want to compete. They don't want to have to fight off against a dozen other candidates. And the party is looking, and by that I mean the endorsements, the rank and file, the conference in Congress, the donors. They're making their decisions about which of these candidates, the VP or the Secretary of State, are going to be coronated as a successor. And once that decision is made, the whole party is going to line up and consolidate behind one of them. And if you have one super powerful candidate, like let's say J.D. Vance is the guy and Rubio falls in line, then he is going to crush everybody in Iowa. He's going to crush everybody in every primary, and he's going to be the guy, or vice versa.
So what do you guys think? I mean, I think it's going to be real difficult to get either of those two guys down. So who would you rather? Would it be J.D. Vance or would it be Rubio?
So think about 2028. You have on the Democrat side, Gavin Newsom, terrible. AOC, terrible. J.B. Pritzker, terrible. Each worse than the last. And on the Republican side, if we do nothing, it's going to be Vance, terrible, or Rubio, terrible. All bad options. I'm thinking ahead to 2028. I want Vance and Rubio to be as diminished as possible. And that only happens if the Trump administration is sabotaged. The Trump administration has to fail in every way, has to become more unpopular, weaker. It has to become so toxic that Rubio and Vance are hurt by their association to it, so that it increases the odds that an outsider that is not a part of this train wreck, this Israel-occupied administration, can come in from the outside as a breath of fresh air for a reset and define a whole new period with Trump off the ballot in the next primary. This is what we're thinking. This is what we're cooking up. And what's funny, so I've explained this like 100 times. I've explained it so much, but people just can't wrap their heads around it. They're like, wait, so you're a Democrat? It's like, no, and then they go, wait. So you want to vote for them now, but you're saying they're going to hurt us in 28? It's like, yeah, okay, yes. Want them to win this election, not the next election. Anyway, so that's the idea. But I'm getting a little bit blackpilled because people are just, here's the thing. It's going to happen, regardless, it's going to happen this way. Okay, screenshot this, screen record this. I want everybody to record how they feel right now. Because in 2028, I'm going to be absolutely vindicated. You are once again watching the magic in action. And this time, I'm going to talk my shit and I'm going to say it confidently with my chest. You might watch those clips from 3 years ago and say, how did he predict the war in Iran? How did he predict that Trump would be this bad? How did he predict that there'd be no mass deportations? How did he predict it down to the month, down to the letter? Those same people are now saying, I don't get it. What, we're Democrats now? Screenshot this. It's happening all over again. I will be vindicated. Democrats are going to win the House. The next 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be a train wreck. He might die in office. I don't want that to happen, but it might happen. He's certainly going to be impeached. They're going to grind every initiative, every program to a halt. He's only going to get more unpopular. And soon, okay, in 2027, the Republican primary is going to begin. The Republican primary for the 2028 presidential election is going to start sometime next year. It might happen in January, it might happen in the spring or summer, but it's going to happen at the minimum at the earliest, at the midpoint next year. And these are the conversations that people are going to have. The donors are already making their decisions. They want to start donating to Rubio or Vance. All of this is starting right now. We have to start thinking about this right now. And if you want an opportunity, if you even want a chance in hell at having a Groyper president, a nationalist, America First president, we have to start gaming it out right now.
Does he have his eye on anybody who this hypothetical candidate is? Anybody on the horizon? Let me know.
The 2028 primary is winnable. But listen, it's a presidential primary. If we're going to have a chance, you got to take it seriously. And taking it seriously means you need to think that far ahead. And it is a bit convoluted. Okay. Yes, I know this requires some second and third order thinking, but that is what is required if you want to be a Machiavellian. That is what is required if you want to win in politics.
I'm sensing that Nicholas is having a hard time getting through to people. He's got to start doing some TikToks about this. He's probably not allowed on TikTok. Maybe he can make a flow chart or something.
So no, I don't want to wake up in the middle of 2027 with my dick in my hand and my pants are on my ankles and say, oh, gee, I think we need to get in the primary. Somebody needs to do something. Let's start a campaign and not know if we're on the ballot. No, we need to think about this now. And we need to think about the challenges that we are going to face. And I'm telling it to you right now. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not an oracle. I'm not a soothsayer. But next year, our top op is going to be J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. I can't destroy them. The Groypers are not strong enough to destroy the GOP machine, but the Democrats are. If the Democrats are empowered in 26, because they are naturally set against Republicans, they are powerful enough to degrade meaningfully their chances of winning. How? Democrats having oversight power will subpoena and depose members of the Trump government. They will expose the fraud, real corruption, real Epstein stuff, the rest of it. It is going to be so radioactive and poisonous and toxic. It is going to seriously wound everybody in this administration. And that is good because those are the people we're going to be fighting against in the 2028 primary, which starts next year. I'm not just a 10-year veteran of, talking about Jews. I don't just go on the show and say Jew for 10 years. I've also been a student of the Trump movement. I've known people in the administration in the first term, in the second term. I know the donors. I know high-level officials. I know how this went the first time. I know how and where it went wrong. I know what happened the second time around. I know how and where it went wrong. I lived it. I lived through it. I lived through the first 4 years of Trump and the campaign and all the fights happening in the bureaucracy. I lived through the 4 years of Biden and the prosecution or persecution of the dissidents and playing that whole game and being in the opposition, Republicans running in 22 and fucking us over. Even then, Marjorie Greene's deal with Kevin McCarthy, we were there for that too. And then throughout this whole process, this election, this term, the personnel, so it's a dual track. Like, yes, we have been ascending in our understanding and consciousness of the Jewish problem or Jewish power, whatever. We've also been ascending in our consciousness and understanding of politics and how all of that works in Washington. And I'm telling you, Vance is our biggest op. Vance, Rubio, if you're looking for the biggest enemy of right-wing nationalism, it is the conservative center-right, which is going to squelch us. They're going to fucking suffocate us. And no one is taking this seriously. There is so much money being poured into that, laying the groundwork. Think tanks and nonprofits and a cadre of influencers, and they're getting the comedians in Austin, Texas on board. They're getting all this stuff ready. They have been planting these seeds for years. They have been planting these seeds for the past 10 years. And they are setting up I am telling you, Tucker and Vance and Natcon and Yoram Mazzoni and Barry Weiss and all of this, they're all doing it to suffocate and siphon energy from the dissident right, from the nationalists, pouring it all back into a Vance 28 campaign, a Rubio 28 campaign. And you can expect just as much America first from that as you got in this administration, which is none.
Look, this is the problem with a two-party system, is that you're not going to get into power if you are too far right or too far left. So center right, center left is the only viable, realistic option, because you have to be able to take these different groups. Like even Trump, like he was able to get the Mexican vote and, you know, some of the black men, and he was able to cobble it together, because you can't just do it with white dudes that are heavily into Christianity.
So anyway, so we'll see what happens, but we're going to move on. We're going to get into the news. That's the last time I'm going to say it. It probably isn't. We're probably going to do the same monologue tomorrow. Who am I kidding? We're going to do the same monologue next week. But honestly, I've been saying it for a long time. And who knows? Maybe they're a part of it. Who knows? Maybe they're a part of this operation. But that has always been our biggest enemy. Our biggest enemy is not the left. The left will kill us, certainly. The left is out to get us, and they hate us. But the left is not the biggest threat. The biggest threat has always been the center right. Because look, we have a binary system. We have a two-party system. You've got the status quo, you've got the institutional left, the hegemonic left, and then you've got the opposition, which is the right, which is trying to unseat and disempower the left. And the right has, it's institutionalized opposition. That is the other half of the country, and they have a monopoly on the people in the country that don't agree with the left. If we can take control of the right as a vehicle, then we can use it and we can win. That's really the path to victory. It's not going to come from the left. It's not going to come from a third thing in the middle. Our system just isn't set up for that.
Mr. Fuentes seems to understand what he's up against. He reiterated a lot of points that I had made previous in this video. So we're on the same page. And you know what? If the Democrats do end up winning a majority in 2026, I'm willing to say that that was all because of Nick. Nick can have that victory as far as I'm concerned, and I will celebrate with him. So there you go. Once again, folks, please remember, like, subscribe, comment, do everything that you can to support me and my channel to continue to do these commentary videos that are provided to me by Mr. Nicholas J. Fuentes.